To me, connected planning means pulling together parts of the business that can't come together any other way.
Connected planning is exciting because it brings speed to our decision making. That allows us to get the right product in the right place at the right moment for the consumer.
To me, connected planning is to have an end-to-end planning solution with the ultimate goal to sell product through to our consumer.
In my mind, connected planning is bringing all together the people and processes in one platform.
Using Anaplan has allowed our commercial team to adapt to market changes quickly and efficiently.
The speed at which you can stand up an application and answer a question is remarkably fast relative to any shrink-wrapped application implementation I've ever worked with.
Using the Anaplan platform, we've been able to easily collaborate both internally and together with our distributor partners.
Now, with Anaplan, we're connected. Interaction and collaboration is seamless.
We realized that what was actually more important to us was flexibility, the analytics that we needed, the ability to truly customize the solution or the model to be what we wanted.
The value in Anaplan is that we have one source of the truth. That's hugely important for the business.
Before, we are just process integrator, but now with Anaplan, we are a solution provider.
Voilà, et sans plus attendre, j'invite à monter sur scène Franck Calderoni, CEO d'Anaplan, qui va vous parler de ce futur. Hein, Franck, you can come over. Welcome. So, floor is yours.
Bonjour and bienvenue. That's the extent of my French. I'm sorry about that, but I thought I'd welcome you all here to Paris. And it's great to be back here in this wonderful city and this great country. It's been a few weeks for me. This is my second hub here in Paris, and a lot has happened to me personally as well as to Anaplan over the past year since I was here last for this event. It's been very, very exciting. You know, one of the things I love about this conference is that all of us in this room are planners one way or the other. And what I'm about to tell you is that planning as we know it is dead. Okay? And the reason for that is there's so much change going on in our businesses. And if I went around to this room and asked each and every one of you, I'm sure you all can tell me about the change that's been occurring in the last year and the last several years. And what that's doing is it's really disrupting our businesses. And it's causing us to have some challenges in how we deal with some of this activity. And so what I want to tell you is that in order to deal with some of this, our traditional planning is not working. I've been in the planning space for 30+ years, and all the time it's taken as far as building these plans is causing us all that time spent doing that rather than actually doing the analysis and making the decisions that are important in our businesses today. So there's an urgent need right now for making very timely decisions. And so I ask all of us, since we're all planners, why do we continue to suffer and deal with some of those challenges in our planning processes today? So does that mean that we're all irrelevant? I would say no. But it does say that we need to reinvent ourselves. We need to evolve. We need to take planning to a whole new level so it can do for us what we needed to do rather than what was right decades ago. I ask each and every one of you, please don't sit back, don't wait, otherwise you can be disrupted in the process and your companies could be affected as well. We need to modernize, we need to get in front of the curve, and in order to do that, we need to leverage next generation technology through this current disruption and take it to our advantage. And that's what Anaplan and connected planning is all about. In order for us to be competitive, we want to make sure that we can be there first. Again, in order to be there first, we have to make the decisions that are necessary today, right now, in real time, and not have to wait days, weeks, months, because our competitors can get there before us. So we need to take a different approach. In order to make those faster decisions, we need to take the distance between planning and real-time decision-making down to 0. So that's the goal I leave all of us with today, 0. Now, it sounds like an impossibility, but I think it truly can be a reality. In order to do that, we can't just sit there and just not take change. We have to accept change. We have to drive change. We have to enable change for ourselves as well as for organizations. You know, I've been a change agent. Some of you may know that I've been in various other companies before I joined Anaplan, companies like IBM and Cisco and Red Hat and various others along my career. And I've noticed that every time I've been in those roles, I didn't want to deal with the status quo. I wanted to make sure that we were on the forefront of what we needed to do for myself and for the organization and also for the company that I was part of. And so becoming a change agent is extremely important in order to set a bar higher and enabling yourself and your team to achieve those goals. The great thing about Anaplan is I get a chance to go around and talk to many of our customers who truly have been those change agents. You know, one in particular I just want to call out today is Rebecca Riley. Now, she's not here today, but she was in our Hub Comes to You in London a few weeks ago, and she was also in our hub back in Las Vegas in the United States. And what I loved about Rebecca's story, she's a global rewards manager, and she came up with a unique approach, leveraging Anaplan to really kind of come up with balanced scorecards through a gamification event. Now, I don't have the time today to really tell about that story, but if you do go onto the Anaplan website, you can experience her whole story and watch her video. I think it's quite interesting. And there's many more examples around the world that I've been able to come up with in the 18 months that I've been part of Anaplan. So again, change our approach. Think differently. The way we plan, the way we want to make decisions, and the way we want to kind of analyze the challenges that are in front of us. That's what the connected planning journey is all about. That's why I came to Anaplan. Having been part of the challenges for so many years, coming here, not only experiencing what I do at Anaplan, but experiencing what others, like our partners and our customers, have done is fantastic. Now, you're going to hear today from some of our customers, like BPCE, Natesis, investment managers. They're going to be on stage shortly talking about their journeys, their connected planning journeys with Anaplan. The other important aspect of what you'll hear from many of our customers, especially those of you who are thinking about being customers, is that in situations where you're able to leverage a connected planning opportunity, you can drive significant value in your organizations by leveraging that change. And that value does not go unnoticed. I'll give you a couple examples, and these are real examples that have occurred here in France. First is Vincent Carew. Now, Vincent was the CIO of Berluti. They're a subsidiary of LVMH. Many of you know that company, especially here in France. So he started working with Anaplan in the sales forecasting area. And he was able to, through that work, bring a tremendous amount of value to his organization, where he got recognized not only in Berluti, but by the Louis Vuitton CIO. And as a result of that recognition, he was promoted to the CIO of Asia Pacific for Louis Vuitton in a short amount of time. One example, one great example. Another one, Fabien Bucara. He is the Finance Transformation Officer at PSA Group. They're the makers of Opel and Peugeot and various other great products. When he chose Anaplan, also in the sales organization, he was able to reduce the forecasting cycle time by 3 weeks, which is substantial. Again, tremendous, tremendous value that he created. Was recognized for that, and 6 months after accomplishing that value, he was appointed to the CFO of one of PSA's plants. Again, a significant move forward. One last example I want to bring up, and I can go through many, many others. Maxime Firth with Odeline. Now, Odeline is a manufacturer and a maker of tile and various roofing products. They're very innovative, both in the residential as well as in the commercial space. And before Anaplan, they could not reallocate their production from one factory to another. And so they leveraged Anaplan in the supply chain, And since implementing Anaplan, Odaline can now decide where to manufacture in real time. So go back to what I was saying before about real-time decision-making. Having the information at the point in time where you need to reallocate your supply from one to another manufacturing facility is critical. Maxime was promoted since using Anaplan over a year and a half ago and is now in a very significant role within that organization. These are examples that I've been able to witness. Some of you have had them yourselves. You've also been hearing about them from others. This is the power of driving connected planning. Seeing more of them is going to be fantastic. You can get your company to zero as well, and as a result, you can become a hero, like some of the three I mentioned before. There are so many examples. So many examples, again, you'll hear about throughout today, and so we thank you again for being part of this. I ask you all to lean in. Take advantage. Those of you that are current customers, thank you, and continue to find more value in leveraging the connected planning platform. Those of you who are thinking about Anaplan or thinking about connected planning, I welcome you to also learn from some of the others that have been down this journey, learn from some of the partners that are here, and various others within the Anaplan community. It would be very helpful and impactful to you. That's what this conference is all about. Learning from each other, sharing ideas, sharing best practices, so that we can all move forward to getting to that zero that I mentioned before. Mastering your skills and learning from each other is critical. Now, as the CEO of Anaplan, I joined about 18 months ago. I started out with various priorities to get our company to a zero goal as well. If I were to just go into the planning space for a moment, our CFO, Anup Singh, he started back in July of last year, and we just began our new fiscal year a few months ago, and he was able to leverage the annual operating plan for Anaplan, where we could get the reduction in time frame that it took us from the start to the finish down to a matter of a few weeks, whereas before it was 2 or 3 times that length. So we started our journey. As part of that, not only in finance, but across the organization, my focus has been on speed and innovation. Speed, again, we have a lot of growth opportunity in front of us. How we manage that is going to be extremely important. Listening to our customers and responding to your needs is extremely critical for us. So dealing with that in a matter of speed and also being innovative in how we do that is extremely important. One great example that I experienced over this past year, talking about speed and innovation and raising that bar. So back in the spring of last year, I talked with our product and engineering teams after listening to many of our customers, asking for different new features being added to our platform. It's always great to get those great ideas from our customers. But as I started to share them with our product and engineering team, their first reaction was doubt. Frank, we don't have enough time. Frank, we don't have enough resources. Frank, all the reasons why we couldn't get it done. Quickly, with the thought of speed and innovation, that doubt changed to do. And I stand up here today proud of the team, the joint team. Over this past year, they were able to deliver 40 product enhancements to the platform over this past year. A significant accomplishment, more so than we've ever had in the past. Again, having the right approach, having a can-do attitude goes a long way. So again, that's just some of the reasons or examples that we've had over the past year within Anaplan of taking things to the next level. For us, we are the disruptor. And that is a great position to be in because, as I said before, the planning space is changing. The legacy applications that have been around for decades are no longer appropriate. So coming up with a new way of doing our planning is critical. So being that disruptor, we want to make sure, listening to all of you, we set those objectives very high. Now, we've also been able to, over the past year, expand our ecosystem. Today, if I look out there, there's over 60 partners here in France that are part of the organization, the extended organization with Anaplan, that's working with existing customers and also with new customers. Deloitte also signed a strategic partnership with us back in September of last year to really expand on a global basis their alignment, their consulting practice with Anaplan to help enable many of our customers to meet their connected planning needs. They are also, Deloitte is also the platinum sponsor for this event, so I thank them for that, and they've been the sponsor throughout this past year. And then the other thing I just wanted to bring up is the community. I mentioned this a few minutes ago. The community is each and every one of you, not only here in France, but around the world, that are connecting and sharing. User groups. Sometimes they're user groups of FP&A professionals. Sometimes they're user groups of supply chain professionals. Sometimes they're connecting points for CFOs or CIOs that are starting to talk about some of the challenges they have and the changes that they want to make. This is thinking in a completely different way. This is the connected planning journey that, to me, is so exciting, and hopefully for you as well. The objective I set, in addition to getting that real-time planning down to 0, is that as we look at connected planning, it should be all planning for all people. That's what connected planning is about. All of us in this room are planners. If you go back to your organization, you'll find that many, if not all, are planners. Because all of us in companies today need to make decisions, and therefore we need to plan in real time to be able to make them the most effective that they are. Connected planning has to be dynamic, it has to be collaborative, and it has to be intelligent. Dynamic in that it's real time, as I mentioned before. It has to be responsive, it has to be flexible, and it has to be fast. Collaborative, it has to bring together a network of individuals, of different processes within an organization. It has to be inclusive, it has to be distributed, and it has to be accessible. Collaboration is what it's all about. No longer is it acceptable to deal with some of the silos that exist in working on a spreadsheet. And it has to be intelligent, self-learning, insightful, and predictive. No longer is it appropriate to plan based on history. We have to plan based on the future. So again, we can be much more proactive rather than reactive. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you an example that what we've worked on within Anaplan. It's kind of a way of setting that bar. It's looking at what we have in the platform today, also incorporating some of the technology that we have in the roadmap, which Sampath is going to talk about later today, and looking at the possibilities that can be created when you do set your expectations high in getting real-time decision-making down to 0. Now, our objective here with this demonstration, and this is a prototype that we've come together in the last few months, and again, is to set the expectations inside Anaplan high, as well as with all of you existing customers and new customers thinking about Anaplan. And the goal is to get the real-time planning and decision-making down to 0. So I'm going to start by introducing Anna. Okay, Anna, she's here, is our connected planner. She's getting ready for work at her home, and she works for a large CPG company, and she's the vice president of product marketing. She's introducing a new line of shampoo and conditioner, and in the morning, she's reviewing news on her smart screen, and she gets an Anaplan alert. Anaplan is always looking out for her, and they're letting her know that competition has just launched the new product ahead of her launch, and you can imagine, as she's standing there and feeling a level of panic inside, understanding, not knowing exactly what the implications are going to be to her launch. Now, what's happening here is all the devices are blending data, analytics, function seamlessly in our daily lives. Everything is ubiquitous, and Anaplan is easily accessible on any device, anytime. Anna's asking Anaplan to see some immediate information about a competitor and how it's going to impact her current plans for upcoming launch. When Anaplan needs to adapt and change fast, as you're seeing here, Connected Planning Platform is going to resolve her challenges in a seamless way, and she can improvise different plans, make some immediate changes, and she's getting information here about France, the market that she's going to launch her product in. It's all conversational devices like Siri, Google Home, Alexa are all being incorporated into the platform so she can speak her requirements in. Analytics refer to breaking out Paris to be able to show specifically the city where she's going to have her first launch. Natural language processing is going to be appropriate so she can actually talk to Anaplan in various different languages and have it be interpreted. And she's getting a lot of the data that's starting to show what the information, the revenue of her competitors has been for the last 8 months. All of this information is coming together in real time, and she hasn't even gotten to the office yet. Over to the side, she's having conversational devices in order to chat with some of her coworkers within the platform. So again, they can start to immediately respond to some of the dynamics that are occurring in the real-time competitive world. And she's now seeing a dashboard. Now, these dashboards here on our Anaplan are very user-friendly from the perspective of giving her information that she needs. Very dynamic, changing, showing market trends. And the toolbars and the interfaces are simple and tailored to the user, and they're all very intelligent. So she's eager to get to work. She gets in her self-driving car. There's a tablet in her car suggesting that she has a meeting as soon as she gets to the office with some of her planning. All this is happening in real time, getting everybody together to collaborate. Connected planning is linked to all the other platforms and personal productivity and calendar tools, so that's all linked. That's all leveraging API services so that the data can flow in and out effortlessly. Anaplan's platform is suggesting a specific workflow. It's intelligent enough to know what steps to take next, who to meet with, what data to prepare, so that the analysis is ready for her and her coworkers, again, to make a fast decision to react to the competitive threat. She also is being notified that she needs to talk with her president, Natalie Wilson, head of the personal care division. All of that workflow information is coming together so that while the meeting's set up for later in the day, everything can be worked on prior to that to make sure that that meeting is productive in meeting some of the goals that she has. This is machine learning-enabled workflow process, which is going to be an awesome feature that we're currently working on right now, and it's one that I'm really looking forward to. She's at the office. She gets a phone alert that another planner in sales has shared a few projections while collaborating with members of the finance team and the supply team. Again, collaboration, cross-functional within her organization. They're all working from the same data simultaneously, looking at various plans. This is all real-time problem solving. Chat is happening over with the coworkers again off to the side, collecting data, analyzing the information, updating the platform on some of the next steps that need to be taken from that perspective, all sitting in a very collaborative, technology-focused conference room. The team is looking over the data, discussing real-time scenarios, marketing, finance, supply chain, manufacturing, sales, all collaborating again. Colleagues starting to share their analysis. This is democratization of data, really in action, collaborating seamlessly in a very relevant fashion, as you can see here. Now, this is exciting to see some of the functions really connected. I talked before about the silos in organizations when leveraging spreadsheets or more of the legacy planning applications that have been existing for the last couple of decades. This is the heart of connected planning. Everything in front of you, collaboratively across an organization, end-to-end process flows, various functional counterparts working together to get to a common goal to make a decision regarding their competitive launch. As Anne and her colleagues are reevaluating launch date, optimization technology is looking at the impact of the earlier launch across all the departments. So if they were to launch earlier than planned, what the implications would be. Of course, you can't just launch a product without thinking about all the implications in sales and marketing, workforce planning. That all needs to come together. Optimizer is allowing them to be able to better optimize all of those resources across the organization to get to the best outcome. Now, once they've made some of their decisions, the downstream plans are being affected, in which order and by how much. Artificial intelligence is being used and leveraged here to make sure that comes into play. Also working through a lot of the social media here so that they're getting information about external data that could be relevant to the decision that they're making. Shopping behaviors, economic profiles, market opportunities from sensors, IoT devices, the latest news and social media feeds. Now, the third-party data is showing that it's extremely critical that they think about perhaps looking at different shows that may be going on, looking at data from a sample. 43% buy products after trying a shampoo, whereas 74% buy products and recommend to a friend if they go through a hairstyling event or a show. And so Anaplan comes back and says that with the connected planning, there's a show coming up in Paris within 2 weeks that they can leverage to be able to then start to have their launch, get all that information together, change some of the plans as far as having the manufacturing of their product done faster, sooner than what they originally planned. They meet with their launch committee, the divisional CFO. They talk about the impacts of moving up the schedule, dealing with some of the manufacturing changes. As Anna makes that change in manufacturing, it ripples through the entire plan. They come together, they start to make some of their decisions as they're looking at all this information across the different organization, compiles it, updates. It's sent to their president, Natalie Wilson, for their 4 o'clock meeting. She had a chance to look at it before the meeting, so she comes to the meeting ready to make the decision. She makes the decision, thanks the team, ready to move forward. They get all the key points that they need to focus on, and she gets that thumbs up, and they're ready to move forward. So what happened here is they ended up getting a better result by having a much faster response. And that was done in a matter of hours, as you saw here in this demo, not days, not weeks. Everyone is happy. If I were to go forward and kind of tell you the end story, they actually met their accelerated launch. They released their product. They had fantastic results in the marketplace. They all became heroes, as I said before. It's great to see that in a prototype, but that does happen in real life as well. Anna and her team were recognized by Natalie and others, and they truly had a successful connected planning event. What we saw here was something that was dynamic, that was collaborative, and that was intelligent, if we step back and kind of think through that. Dynamic in that they got real-time information, and they got all the information down to 0. For them, 0 was 1 day. They were collaborative. They were working across all the functions, not just in a specific silo, and they were able to leverage the breadth of the information, a breadth of the talent that the team was able to bring. Intelligent, they leveraged machine learning, artificial intelligence, optimizer, all technologies that allowed them to get some trends and information that got them better to a decision. I talked about speed and innovation. This is speed and innovation at its finest. I'm ready for this. How about you? Thank you.